bells, this time I mean it. Bid the hatred fairly well. Give back my pieces of my Jesus. Take your counterfeit to hell. Bang the drums, this means a war, not the kind you're waiting for. We said mercy won't be rational, yeah, that's what we're fighting for.
If all is fair in love and war, what the hell is love and even for? If we can't sing it loud enough, we'll keep on adding voices up.
Ring the bells, ring the bells, ring the bells, ring the bells. Move your feet, you tiny people. We've been hiding for so long behind your statues and your steeples. Does that hit too close to home? I got faith to move a mountain and to watch that mountain move. It's time for words to fall like thunder sound. Justice breaking through.
If all is fair in love and war, what the hell is love and even for? The war laughs and the martyrs sing. Love breaks through the Calvary. Ring the bells, ring the bells,
Ring the bells, ring the bells. You called me boy instead of son, and I ain't the only one. Was in the throne room of a kingdom where I found that I belong. But I ain't scared to face a fortress. I've seen them fall before. With broken bones you built it, that crumbles board by board.
if all is fair in love and war, what the hell is love and even for? If we can't sing it loud enough, we'll keep on adding voices up.
Ring the bells, ring the bells, ring the bells, ring the bells, ring the bells. This time I mean it. Bid the hatred fairly well. Give the pieces of my Jesus. Take your counterfeit to hell.
Good morning, Watershed. We're so glad that you've joined us here and online. I hope you're enjoying this absolutely amazing weather that we've been having. The temperature's dropping. Get your fuzzy socks at Walgreens. I've got an addiction to those. My husband hates it. I've got like 450 million pairs of those. But we're so glad you're here and you've joined us today. Thank you.
All this pain, I wonder if I'll ever find my way. I wonder if my life could really change at all. welcome. We're going to take this time now to talk to your neighbors. So, we have time on the clock. Turn around, look for someone familiar, look for someone unfamiliar. Say hello and pass that piece.
Hey, good morning, Watershed. My name is Matt, and I'm the lead pastor here. I'm so glad that you're here this morning. Just a few things that I want to draw your attention to today as we get started. We've got some events coming up over the next week and in the weeks ahead. The first one I want to mention is karaoke night that is supposed to happen. All right, so listen, I have a little bit of a beef right now because that's a great response, and we haven't been able to figure you guys out totally because you're so passionate about stuff like this, but you haven't registered yet. And so I'm going to leave. Can we leave that up there for a minute? And that's happening this Friday night. So if you're planning on being there, it's super important that you register so we actually have a kind of a knowledge about how many folks are going to show up. And so please, we'd love to have you. I'm going to be there, and I do not enjoy getting up on stage. No, I don't, Kim. I don't. I don't. This is not going the way I thought it was going to go. Yeah. All right. So anyway, that's an event that's coming down the pike. I want to make sure that you're aware of that. Also, there is an event that is being sponsored by ICU Talks. And so, Kim, I want to ask Kim to come to the stage for just a moment.
Woo, 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 woo. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, this is still
We're
not
dressed
going
alike,
well.
Daddy.
Yeah.
So wrong. It's so wrong,
It
isn't
is
it?
wrong. It's wrong.
Welcome to Watershed. If this is your first time, this is how we rock and roll. This is how we're real.
Can you just get to the stuff, please?
Okay. We can get to that, please. All right. So, good morning. My name is Kim Honeycutt. I'm a teaching pastor here, but also I'm a part of a ministry called ICU Talks. And all of you help us to do what we do. And we have events, so speaking events here, but we also help pay for people's therapy. We help people pay their monthly bills to help them with their mental health. We do whatever we can to help people have good mental health. And the way we raise funds to do that is Claudia's 5K. And so we have a race that honors those we've lost to mental illness. That's also a beautiful celebration of those of us who are still fighting the good fight and doing the deal. So this is your way of being a part of it, whether you're a virtual runner. You can sign up to do that. Whether you want to come volunteer and hang out and cheer people on as they go in the finish line. Or if you just want to take one of these. I was unsupervised this morning when I got here early. I went everywhere and just put these randomly different places. If you want to take one of these and send it to somebody, hand it to someone, somebody who wants to be a part of a healing process, an active healing process, please let them know about this. And this is the last opportunity I have to remind y'all that these postcards are to hand to people. So that's why they're strategically and manipulatively placed all over this church.
And we all know that no one can, quote, manage you. So.
Well, that's a good point.
When you said I wasn't supervised, that's actually a thing,
yeah,
right?
that's right. You're right. So you're not guilty of that. But other stuff, which is why they're probably going to mute my mic. Anyway, y'all, if you can be a part of this, fantastic. Please know your money goes to help the community. And thank you, Watershed, for being a part of it.
Love you, Kim. Thank you. That's good stuff. Also, if you are a part of our Rooted community, that's our affinity block, that's 20, 30 somethings. I think there was supposed to be an event today that they have kind of kicked into next Sunday, and I think they're going to be meeting after church next Sunday at the Dish. So I want to make sure that you're aware of that recent development. Also, this week we are launching 3 new blocks. They're blocks surrounding a conversation from the work of Tom Ord and Tripp Fuller, and it's called God After Deconstruction. And so there's 3 different environments that you can jump into this. There's a Wednesday night group that is for women only, and Dominic Johnson and Abby Childers are leading that. And then Thursday night, there's one being led by Jeff Royal and James Hastings, and then a Sunday morning version that's being led by Olivia Curry and Daniel Dallinger. And I'm mentioning this to you because I think it's possible in the celebration and all the flurry of leading up to the 20th anniversary that maybe this might have slipped through the cracks for a few folks, but it's not too late to register. And if you follow any QR code that's on the screen this morning, it'll take you to a landing page where you can see that particular icon, click on it, and then go register for one of those blocks. We'd love to have you be a part of it. It's only 6 weeks long. It'd be a lot of fun, and it's very dialogue driven. So we would love for you, and I would hope for you to jump in there. And then also, if you're brand new, probably the healthiest way or the best way to start to find your footing at Watershed is through an experience called Preface. And Preface starts the last Monday of October, and it's 4 Mondays in a row. This iteration of Preface is a mashed up version where you can come in person or participate via virtually online. So I want to make sure you're aware of that. Would love to have you be a part of that. And then lastly, Kelsey, why don't you come on up? Kelsey Smith, give her a big round of applause this morning. Kelsey has been our, I almost said student ministry pastor. No. Our children's pastor officially since April, but really a year. Kind of a year anniversary. I want to hear from you in just a second, or we want to hear from you, but before we get started, who is this good-looking bunch on the screen over here?
Oh, this is my family. So my husband, Graham, is playing keys, actually. Hey! Yeah. And then I have 2 kids. Carter's my oldest, Callie, and it's her birthday today, so if you see her, she might get embarrassed. It's great. Go for it. But we have loved it here. It's been a year. A year ago, Matt and I had a conversation in David, and it was wonderful and scary of like, hey, jump into this interim position with Austin Applefield, who is one of my favorite humans in the whole world. And it was, phenomenal. It was a great experience. We got to come in and continue what Greenhouse is. It was a well-oiled machine. Our kids are loved. Classrooms thrived. And that is what I have been doing for the last year, and I love it, genuinely. It is a joy to be able to walk into our space and hang out with our volunteers who, if you ever walk down the greenhouse hallway and we're chatting in the hallway, it's because we genuinely enjoy each other's company, which is not always the case every church you go to or even your workplace, but it is here. And sometimes it is the best thing, and other times I'm like, I'm very distracted and I need to go hang out with the kids. But it's wonderful. So I have an ask of all of you, if you're a parent, if you're not, if you're a volunteer, whatever it may be. We have a Parent Connect on November 2nd. And this is my hope and dream of it, is that it's just a place for people to come and connect. If you don't know who your kids' teachers are, or if you don't have any kids, come meet them and hang out. If you're a parent like I am, and it's really hard to make other parent friends because everyone is busy and everyone is moving, come hang out. Because I think that there is something deep and meaningful that can happen in a space where parents gather who are like-minded and who want good, wholesome, wonderful things for their kids, and things that are challenging, maybe for their kids too. Talking about God is a big thing, and so we want to create a space where that is welcome, where questions and curiosity lead the way and answers might necessarily come later. I don't know is an okay answer. We say that a lot in Greenhouse. I don't know, and that's okay. We're going to figure it out together. But the Parent Connect is part of that too. What do we want Greenhouse to look like? How do we connect? What does it look like to have different spaces for different kids who learn differently or speak differently, whatever it may be? So, my ask, even if you're not a volunteer yet, because I will come find you, come join us, meet our team, come meet me. If you have no interest or you've never been in a children's ministry hallway or experience, come ask the questions. Or I might come to you and be like, hey, let's connect. But yeah, November 2nd, please sign up. Come hang out with me.
If you're a parent and you follow this QR code, it's going to take you to a link on our website, and you'll see the registration form. We're going to be talking about this in the weeks ahead. This is your 15th or 16th year of doing children's ministry, remind me.
Yeah, at least, yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, 15 or 16. You start to lose track.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
So you're going to hear more from Kelsey over the next week weeks and months. But thank you for the work that you've done over the last year. A year worth of doing ministry anywhere is something to be celebrated and applauded for. And that's no different here. So thank you for all you've done over the last year. Give her a huge round of thank you so much. Thank you. So I was thinking how Watershed is a community, how we attempt to shape the future generations of compassionate, justice-conscious people of faith. Like the kids and the students that are down this hall and underneath are going to be the adults and the leaders of the future in this world, which, given the world that we live in today, is that's significant. Wouldn't you agree? And so when we talk about giving here at Watershed, one of the things that's important to be reminded of is what you are ensuring. And by expressing generosity towards Watershed, you're ensuring that the story continues. You're ensuring that there's a bold, courageous, inclusive people of faith that continue on in the years ahead. And so thank you, those of you who have been just so gracious and generous over the last 10, 20 years, really, in some instances. If you're interested in being a part of what we do here financially, there's real easy ways to do that. I think there's a giving slide that has a QR. There you go. Thank you. If you follow that QR code, it takes you to a place where you can give in safe and secure ways. Every month, my family gives to Watershed. We actually do it through our bank account. We set up a check so that it gets mailed here. That way we don't have to worry about covering fees, or Watershed doesn't have to cover fees. There's boxes in the back and boxes on the wall as we leave. If you're a person that likes to express generosity through cash or checks, if you're still old school like me, I would love to have you be a part of that. Thank you again for being here this morning, and welcome to Watershed.
Hello. So it's fall, right? And I mean, thank you. Out of everybody I ask, is pretty much the most favored season by a landslide, right? I don't think people are like rocking out for winter or summer as much as fall, right? So this song kind of encapsulates fall. It kind of is the fall season, but it's also unapologetically a love song, right? And I chose this because of the fall aspect, but also just a love song. And in this kind of crazy world we find ourselves in, anytime we turn on the screen, we're just like, it's an onslaught of just terribleness, right? And what I find helps me is I'll just, pick someone I love and focus on that, right? Just a small act of, taking my attention and honing in on just a person I love. Now, this could be a platonic person you love or a romantic significant other, but yeah, enjoy. Oh, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Come a little bit closer. Hear what I have to say. children sleeping, we could dream this night away. But there's a full moon rising, let's go dancing in the night. We know where music's playing, let's go out and feel the night. Because I'm still in love with you, I wanna see you dance again. Because I'm still in love with you on this harvest moon. When we were strangers, I watched you from afar. And when we were lovers, I loved you with all my heart. But now it's getting late, and the moon is climbing high. I wanna celebrate, see it shining in your eyes. Because I'm still in love with you, I wanna see you dance again. Because I'm still in love with you on this harvest moon. Because I'm still in love with you, I wanna see you dance again. Because I'm still in love with you on this harvest moon.
Thank you. And good morning, good morning. One very excited person. It's definitely not Kim. Thank you, Watershed, for having me back. I'm grateful to be here, so I guess I didn't screw up too badly the first time I was here. My name is Shay Watts. Shay like shea butter. Thank you, Tommy. So, it's good for your skin. It's good for your skin. This is starting poorly already. So, I'm back. We are continuing this intermittent Mark series alongside of Ted Jennings' book, Insurrection of the Crucified. So thanks for joining us here in the room on this sleepy Sunday. And if you're watching online, probably warmer welcome to you. So let's jump in. I want to begin with a caveat, and that's I don't really consider myself a preacher. I've never felt completely comfortable with the weight and responsibility of proclaiming my own interpretation as the Word of God. Many people may be comfortable with that statement. I'm not. To declare or proclaim, "Thus saith the Lord," from the King James, for example, scares me. Teaching? Sure. Music? Yes. Dance? Circa 2001, the Spirit of David interpretive dance team. I've destroyed all the evidence and you will never see it. Not even my wife has seen what I can do, but what the Lord can do through me, let me say. But preaching, I don't know. I don't really have a fire shut up in my bones. That's like maybe indigestion. I'm more salty than fiery, and I use smart-ass humor to compensate for my lack of a good dynamic preaching voice. To be honest, I've read these gospel stories like the one today hundreds of times, and yet, I continue to wrestle with them. I see different perspectives, insights, and questions. Sometimes I take away something new and exciting. Other times, what I formerly believed about them is questioned. That said, I do take this very seriously because how we interpret these stories is how we interpret and understand Jesus. You know, Jesus, the one whom Christians seek to follow, or so I'm told. And that is why I've devoted my life to studying Scripture, not because I'm going to arrive at the perfect interpretation one day, but because I know I won't. I study Scripture, interrogate it, with a hermeneutics of suspicion, asking, if this is indeed a gospel, where's the good news in it? And I will do so this morning in conversation with the late Dr. Theodore Jennings Jr., whom we called Ted. So that's my approach to preaching this morning. Is that okay with you, Watershed? Thank you. So I invite you to listen, to lean in, and let your hearts receive whatever the Spirit may say to us in this time. Say to us, with us, and in us. So Holy One, illuminate this text that we may learn, and by learning, grow in love of you and neighbor. Amen. A reading from Mark's Gospel. When Jesus had crossed again in the boat to the other side, a great crowd gathered around him, and he was by the sea. Then one of the leaders of the synagogue named Jairus came, and when he saw him, fell at his feet and pleaded with him repeatedly, "My little daughter is at the point of death. Come lay your hands on her so she may be well and live." So he, Jesus, went with him. And a large crowd followed him and pressed in on him. Now there was a woman who had been suffering from a flow of blood for 12 years. She had endured much under many physicians and had spent all she had. She was no better, but rather grew worse. She had heard about Jesus and came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak, for she said, "If I but touch his cloak, I will be made well." Immediately, her flow of blood stopped, and she felt in her body that she was healed of her disease. Immediately, aware that power had gone forth from him, Jesus turned about in the crowd and said, "Who touched my cloak?" And his disciples said to him, "You see the crowd pressing in on you, and how can you say, 'Who touched me?'" He looked all around to see who had done it. But the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came in fear and trembling, fell down before him, and told him the whole truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your disease." While he was still speaking, some people came from the synagogue leader's house to say, "Your daughter is dead. Why trouble the teacher any further?" But overhearing what they said, Jesus said to the synagogue leader, "Do not be afraid, only believe." he allowed no one to follow him except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. And so when they came to the synagogue leader's house, he saw a commotion, people weeping and wailing loudly. When he had entered, he said to them, "Why do you make a commotion and weep? The child's not dead, but sleeping." And they laughed at him. Then he put them all outside and took the child's father and mother and those who were with him and went in where the child was. Taking her by the hand, he said to her, "Talitha cum," which means, "Little girl, get up." And immediately the girl stood up and began to walk about. She was 12 years of age. At this, they were overcome with amazement. He strictly ordered them that no one should know this and told them to give her something to eat. May this speak to us and stir in us today as a word and words from God. When I taught undergraduate religious studies, I created a class called Food and Faith. Food and Faith. On the first day, I would place a card deck with questions at each table for students to use as table talk, sort of an icebreaker. And one of the cards said, "Build your perfect sandwich." I heard an O. I didn't realize how controversial this would be. But people are very particular about how to make a sandwich, especially about what belongs or doesn't belong on it. Here's what I learned. Condiments, very divisive. I never knew that mayonnaise and mustard were so polarizing, but they are. People couldn't even agree on a PB&J. What goes on first? Crust on or off? Cut diagonally? Straight? Not at all? I didn't know I was opening the proverbial can of worms by asking them to walk us through the perfect sandwich from bread to all their desired accoutrements. Well, you didn't ask, but it's about the bread for me. Although the filling isn't the most important part, it does add flavor and texture to the bread. A good sandwich, for me, starts with something fresh. So you have the bread, the filling, the toppings, and then another piece of bread. It also gives moisture to the bread because without it, you may choke. And if you don't believe me, ask Joey Chestnut. That's nasty. Yeah, there you go. Take a look at the nutrition facts there. 21,080 calories. Oh my, cholesterol. Does anyone know how he manages to eat 70-something franks in 10 minutes? Water, right? Speaking of water, can I have my water, please? I'm parched. And no, I didn't bring any franks to demonstrate. Thank you so much, Matt. According to ESPN, because this is a nationally televised sport, Joey's strategy is, quote, developed through extensive training, involves a unique method where he dunks the hot dog bun in water to soften it, then crushes the hot dog and bun together, and then swallows the mass without chewing. His overall strategy is a comprehensive approach that includes a strict training regimen of practice, contests, physical preparation like jaw exercises, and burping practice, that's important, a cleansing and recovery cycle for the body between contests, and the use of breathing techniques to maintain a rhythm and maximize food intake, end quote. My. Eating 74 hot dogs is quite a shock to the digestive system, but is swallowing whole eating or more of a loophole? Let's be honest, right? I apologize for grossing you out with a disgusting, lengthy introduction, but I am going somewhere. And that somewhere is our passage from Mark today employs a favorite literary device of the writer, and that is the Markan sandwich. The story of Jairus' daughter provides bread. The filling is the woman with the long-term hemorrhaging issue. As we read, and then the second piece is obviously we return to Jairus and his daughter. And so as we read together and digest these stories slowly, we'll see, hopefully, a theme emerge between Mark's evolving understanding of faith and how it leads to restoration and resurrection for these people. The story begins with Jesus once again returning to the seashore. And no, he is not selling seashells by the seashore. But in the book of Mark, the Sea of Galilee is actually a character. It not only distinguishes between here and there, that is, between Jewish and Gentile territories respectively, but it's the way that Jesus travels from one side to the other. So when we read at the beginning, he's once again at the shore and a crowd has gathered, it is familiar. We've seen it before. Jesus has returned from there. And I took this picture from Capernaum, these pictures from Capernaum when I visited Israel and Palestine in 2016 when I was on a study tour. So the crowd, like us, has gathered and is anticipating hearing what Jesus did on his mission among the Gentiles. We realize, perhaps, that Jesus' ministry is itinerant. And so we see him when he's back in town. And that is precisely what Jairus does. The text tells us Jairus is the head of one of the synagogues, and he comes to Jesus because his daughter is dying. That we get his name is remarkable for several reasons. First, Mark doesn't usually give us names, as we will see in a minute. Second, the particular name, Jairus, is Hebrew in origin and means he will awaken. Spoiler alert. It's a pun on what will happen later in the story, the awakening or resurrection of Jairus' daughter. Some early manuscripts actually omit the name Jairus because perhaps it seemed a bit too on the nose for them. It sounds like a fictional account or a made-up name, but here we are, 2025, and Jairus' name is here. Jairus comes to Jesus much like the friends who bring their paralytic friend to Jesus in Mark 2, desperately. Jairus shows that when in dire need, status doesn't matter. What matters is urgency. In his commentary, Insurrection of the Crucified, Ted Jennings writes, "In this way, the leader of the synagogue stands with the others who cry out for Jesus' aid, and therefore in opposition to those other respectable and religious men who have been scandalized by Jesus' ministry. By falling on his knees and begging, Jairus risks his reputation and thus shows us what true faith looks like. Faith that Jesus cares and can do something with our urgent pleas and our pain. The faith is the hope, which is a gamble, that God's reign really is at hand. And in the story, when Jesus encounters this type of faith of hoping against hope, he's drawn into it. Whether it's the nameless leper, the nameless paralytic man with his nameless friends, Jesus recognizes this as solidarity with his own mission. And with that, we have our first slice of bread. So let's add something to it. Jennings suggests an alternative title for this next story, The Case of the Magic Robe. Sounds a bit too much like Harry Potter for me, but I take his point, and I know he wrote it with his signature humor and wit, his cheekiness. He offers, this story should be a reader's favorite. It has a magic robe from legend, slapstick humor, human interest, cynicism about the medical profession, and a very interesting theological point. It has everything. Too often, he cautions, readers pass over it with embarrassing haste. Like Joey Chestnut, perhaps, we may be tempted to consume it quickly without chewing. But Jennings invites us to savor the story. You know you have to chew 25 times, right? I don't want anybody choking on bread today, okay? So if you don't dip it in water, however you make your sandwich, make sure you're chewing properly, okay? I care about all of you, and I want you to to live, so when I come back, if I come back, you'll be here. So this nameless woman is suffering from a prolonged flow of menstrual blood. The condition, I looked it up, is called menorrhagia, or menorrhagia. Did I say that correctly? There's several learned doctors in here. Ish. According to WebMD, which is clearly a primary source, it exhibits several symptoms beyond bleeding, including fatigue, shortness of breath, and a heavy menstrual flow. What's not said on WebMD is that such a condition would limit the woman in other ways, like what she did or where she could go. Can you imagine her frustration, her embarrassment? 12 years. She was considered ritually impure. The same religious code that deals with leprosy applies to those with bodily discharges, especially women. According to Leviticus, before one could participate in the community's religious life, they needed to be healed and cleansed. This means that this nameless woman's condition separated her from God and from community. So hers was a condition of perpetual social stigma and separation. It's no wonder she tried everything she could to be healed of her affliction. Water break. The text tells us she sought healing in the medical establishment. She had spent all her money and grew no better, but only worse. And we've all heard stories of people who have spent great amounts of money on treatments that ultimately didn't work, or ultimately they weren't healed. So the reader encounters a recognizable story and perhaps feels a tinge of sympathy for the woman in her frustration, her desperation, her degradation. Now she has no other recourse than to seek out Jesus and to literally reach out, entertaining superstition by touching his robe, his magic robe, as it were. So she enters the crowd, risking their reaction if her condition were to be made known. And like Jairus, she jeopardizes her reputation. Jennings writes, against the holiness code, she acts on the desperate hope that her contamination is not more powerful than the healing properties of the wonder worker. Perhaps it is because she thinks magically rather than theologically that she has the courage and audacity to do as she does. I want to stop right there. Perhaps it is because she thinks magically and not theologically. Sometimes our theology is the thing that's keeping us sick. You need to let that shit go. I don't know who that's for, but just receive it. So the woman reaches out and she grabs a handful of Jesus' robe. Not Jesus, his robe. And what happens though? And she's healed. Then the story tells us that Jesus feels the power surging from his robe. Now, likely the early hearers of Mark's tale would be familiar with a conventional device of a magic robe and the genre of the story. A little background for you. But Jesus stops and asks, who touched me? Here's some slapstick humor, okay? Because the disciples are in a crowd, a mob, they reply accordingly, probably sarcastically. If I was a disciple, I would be like, Jesus, the crowd is pressing in on all sides, and you asked, who touched you? And we're reading this in English, but in the Greek, Mark's slangy style and abrupt prose would have been comical. Everybody, it's funny. So, in a crowd full of people pressing against you, the likely answer to who touched me is everyone. Everyone, Jesus, everyone is touching you, and they're touching me, and I don't like it. But as is often the case in Mark, the disciples miss what happened. And Jesus doesn't find her with some supernatural discernment. But then, like Jairus, the woman comes to Jesus and falls at his feet. Notice what Jesus says, "Daughter, your faith has made you well." Not the magic robe, not some number on a screen that you call and give all your money to, and they send you anointing oil or miracle water or whatever. Not even Jesus' word. In fact, it was nothing that Jesus did. So the story tells us. Her faith did it. What faith? The woman thinks Jesus is an itinerant miracle worker with a magic robe. Her plan to touch the robe seems to me more like superstition than faith. It is, but perhaps something else is at work here too. The doctors have failed. There seems to be no hope, and yet she won't give up. She's willing to gamble it all, to risk it all, that her affliction will not have the final say. And Mark is telling us this is what faith looks like. This audacious act is the only faith she has. Just as the four friends tore the roof off of the house in Mark 2 to get their friend to Jesus for healing, this woman doesn't have time to make an appointment. Now is the time, and so she goes for it. That is faith. That is what makes the woman well. Jennings writes, to say that the mission of Jesus provokes faith is simply to say it provokes this audacity, this courage, this impatience, this wild gamble. The healing story is not just about a medical condition. It's about restorative justice and the woman's refusal to accept her affliction, to accept her circumstances any longer. By being made well, the woman can now re-enter the social and religious places from which she was previously excluded. She does not conform to conventional theological definitions of faith. Her faith is one of action, driven by her courage and desperation. To be made well, she practices utter disregard for religious taboo, social stigma. Nothing will get in her way. This is faith. There's still much to be clarified and considered in Mark's definition of faith. Don't worry, Matt's preaching next week, so I'm sure he'll sort it all out. But in the meantime, we have to sit with and wrestle with the text in order to do so. So let's add the second piece of bread, the final piece. We return to Jairus' daughter. Jesus is still teaching, but the situation has deteriorated. Someone comes to Jairus to tell him that his daughter is now dead. And hope turns to hopelessness. But Jesus overhears them and tells Jairus, don't be afraid, only believe. In other words, don't give up. Jesus leaves the crowd and takes his inner circle, Peter, James, and John, to Jairus' home. And they enter a scene of mourning. The people gathered are weeping and grieving the daughter's death. And Mark, continuing a sort of crass humor, tells us Jesus says the following controversial statement. Stop the racket. Stop crying. The girl isn't dead. She's sleeping. How do the people respond? They laugh. They're outraged. They mock Jesus. And Jesus throws them out, which is the same Greek word here used when he casts out unclean spirits elsewhere. Then Jesus goes into the room with the parents and his disciples, and taking the daughter by the hand, speaks to her in Aramaic, her native tongue. Talitha kum, which means, girl, get up. Or as I hear it, girl, get up. For Greek listeners, this phrase would have been unfamiliar, a bit like a spell in a foreign tongue, expelliarmus or something like that. Reducto. Sorry, I'm not fluent in that language, but. And then Jesus breaks with convention and engages taboo also by grabbing a corpse's hand and telling her, wake up, get up. And what happens? She gets up, and then she eats because dying makes you hungry. We learn that the daughter is how old? 12. Y'all are good. Why would that be significant for this story? 12 disciples. Also, how long had the woman been bleeding? 12 years. The numbers are the same to direct us to the same point. Both stories demonstrate the type of faith that Mark is affirming. In the first case, faith is the hope that an incurable disease can be cured, even if by magic. In the other, faith refuses to accept death. In both cases, it means wagering everything on the possibility of what seems impossible. And that is faith. Jennings concludes by asking if Mark is encouraging wishful thinking. And I think it's a fair question. But if Mark is a book about how the disciples seem to fall short of the radical faith Jesus is showing and teaching, then this story adds yet another layer and a challenge to us about what faith looks like. We are not at the end of Mark's gospel, but these sandwich stories suggest that faith has something in common with magic and superstition, mainly the refusal to take what is deemed reality without some pushback, without a fight. The refusal to accept things as they are is part of the audacity of faith. And Jennings suggests that these healing stories don't have a symbolic meaning. We might try to look for metaphor. Rather, they are essential to the narrative, to what God is doing through Jesus in the Gospel of Mark. Because in them, in these stories, we find the radical humanity of the in-breaking rule of God, of God's kingdom. So in the last few moments that I have, I want to offer a few takeaways. And the first is, faith, we learn from Jairus and the woman with the hemorrhaging issue, is about urgency. Notice that Jairus and this woman, they don't wait for Jesus to come to them. They take matters into their own hands. For Mark, faith is audacious and urgent in precisely this way. And Watershed, I wonder how our lives would look, our communities would look, our city would look, our nation would look, our world would look, if we exercised a more audacious faith. A faith that says, while it may not seem plausible or even possible, we refuse to accept the status quo. A faith that says enough is enough to theologies that make and keep us sick, that perpetuate the sicknesses in our churches and in society and in our politics. A faith that creates and stirs in us a sense of boldness that refuses to be denied. And the second takeaway, when we risk it all to follow Jesus, the kingdom really is at hand. It's literally in our hands and in our midst. So we have to reach out and lay hold. We have to reach out and take it, because God's kingdom is in you. It's in me. And together, when we risk it all, there can be hope for restorative justice, even if we don't think it's possible. So if I could encourage you this morning on this sleepy Sunday, lean into that faith, because now is the time, Watershed. Don't sit back. Don't stand down. Don't lose heart, hope, or give up. God's kingdom is here and now whenever we are audacious enough to act like it. Because doing is believing. Why not now? Why not today? Why not this moment? May it be so in our lives. Amen.
Please stand and sing along with us. You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies till all my fears are gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear, for I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear, for I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have crafted me. Love has called my name. I've been welcomed in to your family. For I am a child of God.
So, Russ and Jamie, where are you? I need you guys to sprint up here very quickly. Yeah, come on up. Come on up. Come on up here for a second. This is kind of a impromptu thing. Thanks for bringing your iPad. We appreciate that. Russ has been on staff a little over a year. He's in the back. He oversees all of our production and technology. And this is Jamie, who has been someone very important in his life for the last couple of years. And on Thursday, these two rascals snuck off and got married. So I just wanted to say congratulations to the two of you. Russ, we had a meeting scheduled on Thursday afternoon, and a week ago he's like, I don't think I can make the meeting. And I'm like, well, why? What's going on? He said, well, we're eloping and we're getting married. And I just said, you need to get your priorities in line because we got a meeting at 2. So, listen, we love you guys. We're so grateful for you, and we wanted to say congratulations. And I want to pray for you, and then we'll call it a day. Does that sound like a good idea, gang? All right, God, thank you so much for these two. Thank you for this community. Thank you for brought to us this morning in just a word of encouragement about how to live faith with such audacity. And I recognize those overtures in both these two, the lives of Russ and Jamie, and we're just so thankful that we get to be a part of this momentous season of their life, and we're just so grateful that we get to be a community together. We love you, and it's in Christ's name. Amen. Congratulations, you two. Make sure you hug their necks. Have a great day.
Seriously, Grant, thank you.